Here we go. 3, 2, 1, Ava.
It's just, sometimes I just want to know why I'm closing somebody.
Who gives a shit? You're client-facing. You're not a member of the parole board or prison shrink. You're there to get the sign easy on the toe tag. Yours is not to reason why. Yours is to do or die.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
Management code 9804556. Executive code, please.
Executive code 74598CG.
Confirmed.
For the greater good.
Oh my gosh! You guys even planned it. That was the best. What just happened, ladies and gentlemen, was better than the entire flippin' movie. Oh my gosh, guys. Way to start off strong. Oh, man.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
That is great.
I needed a little help with that one.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. This is episode 344, and tonight we're talking about Ava. Now, I got a little bit of grief this week at my workplace because we're not reviewing Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, okay.
I was told specifically, I thought you did a movie podcast. Why aren't you doing Mortal Kombat? And I said, for the main reason, because every other movie podcast in America is reviewing Mortal Kombat this week. And we just did a new movie a couple of weeks ago in the Godzilla vs. Kong, and that's not all that we do. We like to do some other stuff. So we tried it. I picked this movie myself because, frankly, I thought the poster looked cool and the trailer looked kind of neat.
Hey, Sean, what's the name of our podcast?
Cheapseat Reviews.
Yeah, we can't afford to purchase Mortal Kombat right
Well,
now.
it's on HBO. It's on HBO. And
it is?
Yeah, the three of us have it, so we could watch it.
I thought it was one of those buy at home, rent at home, watch at home, theater at home, whatever it's called.
Buy it on demand type of thing.
No,
so it's on HBO Max. Okay.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max. We could have watched it. I
saw it. I actually watched it last Thursday.
Oh, neat. Did you? Yeah. Do we want to talk about it? I haven't seen it.
Let's talk about this movie, and if we decide to do it, we will talk about it.
That's fair. Yeah,
but,
that's fair.
Yeah.
So greater good, man. That was amazing. I'm still jonesing out about that. That's the best thing ever. I'm Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. Always puts on lipstick before killing, Jimison.
And then I wipe it off violently with a napkin while I'm driving.
Sure.
Yeah,
as you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
As I self-monologue.
Yeah. And Sam only gives advice near water vector.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe we aren't looking deep enough into this movie, and the water signifies something. Yeah. Right? Maybe there's some sort of water symbol. But Sean.
Yeah.
If there's a way I'm going to kill you.
Please do it quickly.
In this movie, right?
He's just going to make you watch the movie.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to Photoshop you into the movie poster.
As you did.
And then it's going to get lots of fans and people really wanting to see this beautiful Opie in this movie. And you'll get a stalker because of that movie poster that will kill you down the road.
But the problem is that that's still very long and slow, like this movie.
But it's not long. It's only an hour and 37 minutes or something like that.
This is the longest.
Much longer.
The longest.
God.
Honestly, the Zack Snyder cut felt shorter than this movie.
Oh,
and it took me 3 days to watch that movie.
I mean, and you think of all the filler they had in this thing, like the stuff they could have edited out. This is a 15-minute short that could have been pretty tight. Still totally, bad. But it's just like all the stuff with her mom and sister, and even her former fiance or whoever it was, boyfriend. No, just get me killing people, right? Yes. Just get me killing people. And Anyway, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're fine. Okay. So again, I take the brunt for this one. We've all picked bad movies. I get to own this one this time. The trailer looked really interesting. I liked the idea.
And honestly, this looked like almost like a Bourne Identity for Jessica Chastain.
Yeah.
A vehicle for her to be the next Bourne assassin type of thing.
That's exactly why I picked it, because that's exactly what it looks like. Yep. It's another one of those where there's an assassin's not a word. Assassin who does a thing wrong, and the group that she works for, whether it's the CIA or whoever, it doesn't matter. It's just referred to as management, as the company, and apparently pays a lot of money to do this thing, and so she has to, ward off those people in order to survive, and then there you go. That's your movie, and that's all I needed. And you're right, Sam. I didn't need all of this other crap. I don't.
No,
maybe the movie is trying to make us care more about her, and maybe it would be more interesting if she had real world problems as opposed to John Wick, who's just out for revenge, or Jason Bourne is just on the run. Let's give this person real world problems. And
even the alcoholism in this movie was dumb, right? It never really, there was no payoff.
Thank you.
She got trashed, or was starting to get trashed, and was still kicking butt like anything. I thought it might even have been a Popeye moment, right? With the alcohol. but this movie is just, it's a vehicle for nothing. It's the most bland, unimpressive movie I've seen in a long time.
In a while, yeah.
And it's just, I don't like it. I suffered through this one, guys. I really did.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. For 2021, this is going to go down as my least favorite thing we've done. I'm saying it now. I'm not even going to wait until I give my score. This is worse than The Killing Joke, Midnight Sky, Gemini Man, or Outside the Wire.
Yep.
Not even close, in my opinion.
The biggest problem with this whole thing is in my 5-word review.
All right. Well,
you ready?
Yeah, let's just jump here. Let's do it.
Yeah, my 5-word. We've seen all this before.
Yeah.
Right? Well, there is nothing original in this, in terms of the tropes that they use, in terms of the assassin whose bosses come after her, in terms of even some of the hijinks that she's in, and her motivations. If I were to describe this as a color, it would be beige. It was just, there's nothing to me in this impressive.
I will disagree only on this merit. You're right. A lot of those tropes are in this movie, and they're tropes we've seen before, and they're not necessarily bad tropes. They're tropes that work. John Wick works because it's simple. It's just a revenge story, and we're okay with that. What we want to see is the spectacle of how he disposes of bad guys, and I think
Bourne Identity is simple as well. And the reason we watch is how Bourne gets out of certain circumstances and outsmarts his captors.
He's very clever. I mean, truly, Bourne gets into there's only 3 fights. He only kills 3 people, really. He kills Clive Owen at the end, the guy at the beginning in the house that he kills with a pin.
The bathroom.
And the bathroom is the second Bourne.
Second Bourne, okay.
And the second guy was... Crap. Now I can't remember what the second guy was. Well, and then the third, I guess there was the fight at the end where he's taking out a couple of guys, but that's barely a fight. It's just my point is that movie it's clever and it feels big, and the apparatus that's chasing him feels so immense, right? It feels like the U.S. government is attacking this dude. Whereas in this, we don't know who the management is, and we only see 2 men. We see Man 1, who is played by John Malkovich, who's great. He's good in this movie. I think he's good. He's supposed to be... He just reminds me of the non-LSD version of the dude from Red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's Irishman.
Colin
Farrell. Colin Farrell, yeah. And
I feel like we've seen Colin Farrell in this role before, like the exact role.
Could be.
I don't know if we have, but
he kind of reminded me of the guy from Minority Report, but in Minority Report he's legitimately a good guy.
Well, and could it be that our expectations at seeing the names on this movie?
Oh my gosh, yes.
We expected a lot more, right? Yeah. I did enjoy John Malkovich in this, as a character in this. I thought he was kind of neat as the father figure and mentor to Ava. But it feels like all these people were just either underused or they didn't fit. It almost felt like everybody was taking a check and the director was putting check marks next to all the different spy, assassin, thriller key moments.
See, again, I only disagree in that I wanted more of that. I wanted more of the check marks of the spy, thriller, assassin stuff. I don't want girl who's having relationship issues. I don't need a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what this felt like. It was a Lifetime movie, just with killing.
Although maybe something different would have been a Lifetime assassin movie.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe that would have made it different or stand out or at least give it some color. And it's just, I don't know.
We have skipped over some stuff in the procedure here. I'm gonna hop back. We're just so excited to talk about how much we hated this movie. So Ava, in case you don't know what it is, it's a 2020 movie. It does star Jessica Chastain. Somehow I added like 4 syllables to her name. I didn't mean to. Jessica Chastain, John Malkovich, Common is in this. Gina Davis, Colin Farrell. That's a good cast right there. That's a good cast, right? And if I said, hey, the director is Tate Taylor, and you're like, that kind of sounds familiar. Yeah, he's the guy that did The Help. He directed The Help.
I didn't know that.
That's a good movie. Never seen it, but I've been told it's a really, really good movie. He also did Ma. That movie came out a couple of years ago with the woman that's also from The Help. Crap, my brain.
Octavia Spencer.
Yes, thank you. Octavia Spencer. She plays. It's kind of like
Ma Rainey.
Yeah, it's like a psychological thriller where like these kids are like, "Hey, come hang out" or something, and then she like,
I saw that. I think
dives into their lives, whatever. And he's done a couple of other things. Let's see. He did some episodes of something called Filthy Rich. He did The Girl on the Train.
Yeah, I'm not knowing.
That's it's another kind of a thriller kind of a thing. With it's got Allison Janney in it. Lisa Kudrow. Emily Blunt is the lead. Justin Theroux, Luke Evans. I mean, it got a lot of good reviews, and it was so. Maybe he's trying to do. I don't know. This movie is not psychological thriller, Ava.
No. It tries to be.
I guess
it hints that it wanted to be, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like Lifetime meets. Maybe that should be my 5-word review. Lifetime meets Bourne Identity. I guess that could be a good 5-word review. But like we've mentioned this before on movies, where a movie doesn't feel like it knows what it wants to be, so it tries to be multiple things, and that's what this felt like.
Yes.
Andrew, what was your 5-word review?
Okay. Finally, a great assassin film. No, I'm kidding.
I'm watching you on the camera thinking, okay, he's got a grin on his face.
My actual 5-word review is, this is so bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it just, everything that you've said so far, I hated every moment of this. And I watched it twice, as I said. I watched this once a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, whenever it came out, because I saw the poster. I thought, yeah, it looks kind of cool. And then you said, we're doing Ava next week. And I was like, oh, crap. I got to watch it again.
Dude. We all have veto powers. If you knew this was going to be this bad, you could have said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
Well, in fairness, you weren't on last week, and I think I made the decision. I added this movie pretty late in the recording of last week, so. I mean, you were gone for a very, very valid reason. You know, you're working on your master's. It was kicking your butt. You needed a week off. You missed a good episode with Ricky D from Best Flicks with Ricky D. And we had a really good time doing Shutter Island, which is a significantly better film. But
yes,
yeah, seriously, you two both have veto powers. If a movie gets put on here and one of you guys said, "No, I've seen this. This is not going to make for a good episode. Let's not do it." Now, again,
well, but see, I think it might make this is a good episode because we have gone through a string of really good movies.
Yeah,
and every now and then we need this to refresh our palate, right? Every now and then you need that really bad piece of fruit. Yeah, be like, "Holy crap, this is horrible!" So that when you eat the next piece of fruit, it's going to taste that much better.
You can go in the candle shop and smell all those candles, but eventually you're going to smell a piece of shit again. And that's what this is.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like nothing was good. The story wasn't good. The acting wasn't good. Well, I mean, I guess the acting wasn't terrible.
Well, can I piggyback on one thing I did like? And when she was in that evening gown, the red evening gown, holy crap, was she attractive. That was the only thing I took out of this movie is that Jessica Chastain, who's, in my mind, I don't know, I don't find her all that attractive. I did when she was in that dress. That was quite a dress. So.
I think she's fine. I mean, she's not, whatever. But that didn't even help salvage anything for this for me. I got angry as I was watching the scene where they were in the church in Boston, and I don't know why. The whole time I'm thinking, all right, we got an abandoned church. We're going to put some guy sitting on a chair in the middle of an alley for no reason at all, and people are going to walk by this alley and just happen to see him sitting there on a folding chair. And if it's a hobo, that kind of makes sense. But this guy's wearing a suit. Like nothing's up.
Oh, yeah, the bouncer guy.
Yeah, the bouncer guy. Nothing's up. It's totally normal just to sit in a random alley. And then have a porta potty as your entrance to this abandoned church. And when you go inside, it's set up like a club. And we're playing cards in there. Like, it's... The whole thing, I thought, God, this is dumb.
So it's so funny you cued in on that because, about halfway through the movie, I was kind of starting to zone out. I was just watching it. I stopped taking notes because I didn't care. And my wife was actually bringing up a lot of really interesting points. And that was one of the things she chimed in. She said, "Why do you need a 300-pound bouncer if you're going to disguise your door with a porta potty? Like, you don't need both. Have one or the other.
I don't ever want to go in a porta potty. I don't care how bad I have to go.
Yeah.
I'll go in the street before I go in a porta potty. And
well, especially a porta potty in an alley in Boston. That doesn't. There's nothing good about that at all. But like, you're right. Like, you don't need the guy unless. I don't know. Like, this trope is used a lot, and it works really well in a lot of other movies. I'm thinking of like Black Panther specifically, when they go into the Chinese restaurant, and all of a sudden it's this, and the bouncer is like this little old unimposing woman, who is like, who is this guy? Like, oh, it's Nigerian royalty. They got deep pockets. She's not going to be the one that stops you. It's whoever she's got with her are going to be the ones that stop you. And then when what's his name? The guy with the arms shows up. He just gives her a kiss and just walks by. Right. But like, that's a neat little thing happening. There's a backstory that I don't need. I just know that she's important and she controls the flow of traffic into this place. Whereas, I don't know, just, what I'm saying? Like, this trope is the thing. They even use it in John Wick, right? John shows up and he puts the gun to the guy and he's like, "You working?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, All right, how are the kids? The kids are good. He's like, I'm just going to hit you. I don't want to kill you. He's like, I appreciate that. So he just knocks him out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something to be had, but I don't know. It's dumb. Anyway.
Yeah.
So,
the world building in this is just non-existent.
Yeah.
It's just not creative.
I really wanted the very last scene, and it's spoiler, whatever. At the very last scene where the girl is following her, I wanted both of them to get hit by oncoming traffic. I wanted somebody to swerve and just take out both of them.
Well, I looked at my wife and I said, are they anticipating a sequel with this?
This feels like a big setup for a sequel, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And
and
you know what? I mean, do it. Get me a different director. Get me the guy that directed Bourne Identity. Let's get that guy on the phone. Let's keep Jessica Chastain. I don't think she's bad in this movie. I really don't. She doesn't. She only has two modes. She's either in fight mode or
she never looks out of place
or drunk, depressed mode.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like she's just swinging a leg when she's kicking. I mean, she went all in. I will give her that in terms of she sells the action, or her stunt double or whoever it is.
Yeah,
the fight scenes were fine.
Yeah.
I totally bought her as a fighter. Her gun control was really good. She's not flailing around. Remember that really bad Final Girl that we all watched with Abigail Breslin? Like none of us bought her as a girl that could actually kick a dude's ass. But
no,
I bought her doing it. So I mean, if she wants to make another one, then that's fine. Let's get Ava 2.0 and let's.
But here's the thing. In a world where we have Extraction and the type of action that we see, and remember, Extraction was a Netflix thing too, right?
Well, this isn't a Netflix thing. This was just on Netflix. I don't think this was.
I thought this was a Netflix thing.
I did too.
But I'm just saying, we expect Extraction nowadays when we're going to an action movie like this. It's expected. And certainly it was good, but it wasn't Extraction good, which very few are nowadays. But you've got directors who can direct action, and to be honest, that's kind of what I was expecting with this. I was expecting an Extraction type movie.
And I think had they the first scene, they start off, they could have gone really strong here. And I think had it been, and maybe I'm just one of those people that's, I don't know, I want to see more gory, I want to see more violent in something like this, maybe. Had she, in that first scene in the car with Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, if she had tortured him, and I know that sounds terrible. It's almost like I want to see all this gore, but if she had made it, I don't know, she shoots him in the hand or the leg or whatever, and then as he jumps, she shoots, and that's it. And I'm like, okay, that was a lot for nothing. It felt like.
Yeah, I'm okay with the cold open with that, the slow open with that, because she's just doing her job, so everything is fine. What I really hated about that scene was the girl that was following her.
The tail. Yeah, there was no reason for that.
Well, there was a reason. I mean, it's not Simon Pegg. Where did I get that from?
Colin
Farrell. Gosh, it's his daughter. And he's using her to trail Ava because he thinks Ava is a liability. And the part that pissed me off is this is a case where the director just assumes that we don't know how microphones work. So she's holding up.
All right, sound guys.
Yeah,
school us in the sound.
So
here.
She's holding. Again, the problem is there's two problems. One, the director never gives us a relationship. Physical distance relationship between girl on the bike and them in the car, right? Like, I have no idea how far apart they are. They never show us an establishing shot of both in the bike and car in the same shot. So for all I know, she's a mile away. We have no idea, or she's 10 feet away.
She's that thing she's holding is a little Zoom audio recorder.
Yes, that's problem too. It's just a little Zoom audio recorder that has an effective range of about 7 feet.
Yeah.
And
I have one of those that I would record kids in the class with when they do a performance.
yeah,
And it's good for that. But if you're trying to listen a mile away from a bike,
if you put that same thing on the marching band field to get your band, you're gonna hear traffic, you're gonna hear birds, you're gonna hear everything. It's gonna hear everything. So when she's like angling it and there's static, there wouldn't be static. It would either be noise or nothing. There's not static. It's not an FM antenna. So as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, did she bug the car and that's the antenna that she's trying to dial in? That's the only thing that makes sense as to why we could hear, you know what I'm saying? Like if she would have pulled out a parabolic microphone like they use for football games, you know, like we've seen them in movies where like
like a radar looks like
it
a radar.
looks like a radar dish, or a satellite dish, like a plastic bowl with a little thingy. If she pulls something like that out, I can kind of buy it, right?
we don't even need that, though. All we need is show us a little section of the car where there's a blinking light on there where we think it's a bug of some kind.
Yeah.
And have her, like, with her phone or an iPad or something with it. You know?
It takes literally the sound guy on set should have handed her his boom mic. At least it looks like you know what I'm saying? It would be a shotgun mic. It would look real.
But it's that lack of creativity and that's that lack of thought that it permeates this entire thing.
Stuff like, I mean, again, I know I'm the sound guy, but I mean, like, I don't know. That stuff. You're right, Sam. It's unimaginative. It's just you're treating us like we're stupid, and I hate that. I really hate it.
Yep.
Well, I don't know that they're treating us like we're stupid. I think that they didn't know what they were doing. Or maybe they were limited by
that's
money or something. I don't know.
Not a budget thing. That's literally you go
not a budget.
You go to the property guy, the prop master. You go to which I'll admit I didn't know this. I did not know that prop was short for property. I didn't know that.
Oh wow! Okay. Yeah.
Recently, like I learned that in another podcast. So the prop master is referred to as the properties master or properties department. So I didn't know that. So anyway, you just go to the prop guy and say, I need a satellite dish. I need a parabolic microphone. They'll make one. You know, it doesn't have to look. It just needs to look better than what that was. You're right, Andrew. It would look like a little Zoom handheld stupid thing. Anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of props, I'm going to give a shout out real quick to a guy on TikTok. His TikTok is Props to History. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out because he's very knowledgeable about tons of props from movies and has lots of stories.
I think I've seen him too. Yeah,
you sent us stuff about things that he's posted. Yeah, no, that's
so go to TikTok, check him out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he should pay us for that.
He should.
All right, my 5-word review. Right, you two have both gone. Yeah. I wrote boring, slow speed chase sleep. Sleep was me. I fell asleep. I didn't fall asleep during the movie, but this movie made me so tired that I fell asleep immediately after. I just went straight to bed. It just sucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care about the love triangle. I don't care about. Nope. Sam, I'm glad you mentioned this earlier. The drinking problem. There's so much made about the drinking that I felt like what should have happened is that led to a consequence, right?
Yep.
And this movie felt long it felt really long. But what it felt like what should have happened is she gets a little drunk, and okay, all right. I feel like we need to back up. If you haven't watched this movie, don't. But I guess I feel like we need to. I guess I never did do this either. Ava, 2020 Ava. Ava is a deadly assassin who works for a black ops organization traveling the globe, specializing in high profit hits. When a job goes dangerously wrong, she is forced to fight for her own survival. All right, that's not quite right. It goes wrong because it was engineered to be wrong.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. Like, the story doesn't make sense. He goes after her because she's a liability, but why is she a liability? And why is that worth going after her?
Yeah, just stop. Just stop giving her jobs.
Yeah,
Just,
that's all you have to do. So you're done.
Yeah. All right, retire. See you later. It's not like she's, in any kind of trouble with the law or
She's
international
got
authorities.
$500,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
She's fine. Let her go. Cut her loose, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong. Colin Farrell's motivation doesn't make sense other than it feels like, I don't know,
It was shoehorned. It was shoehorned
because it feels like he's okay. That's why I want to call him Simon Pegg, because his character's name is Simon. It made me feel like he was maybe jealous of her relationship with Malkovich. His character name was Duke, right? So John Malkovich is like a higher up in the organization, and he trained both Colin Farrell and Jessica Chastain. But he trained him first, and she is his kind of favorite. And it kind of felt like Colin Farrell was feeling some jealousy there. That's the only thing I can think of, because, yeah, we're told about this event that happened. She got drunk, and there was a thing in the hospital. We don't really know what happened, and I'm okay not really knowing. We don't need a full backstory. We just know something bad happened, and I guess Colin Farrell is afraid that could happen again. And so that's why. But it just seems weird that this thing happened 2 years ago, and all of a sudden now it's like, well, now we must kill her because she's talking to the victims. She's still doing her job. Mm-hmm. It's not like, okay, yes, she's asking them why they were killed, but it's not like she didn't then kill the guy.
What does that matter?
She just wants to know. She just feels like she needs to know why it happened. It's kind of like the kid from Wanted. He wants to know why, and then eventually he just gets over it and then realizes that he was the bad guy, and then changes course. But sorry, I guess spoiler if you've not seen Wanted. But it just
Can I drop a real cool piece of trivia that I just saw?
Yeah.
Well, it's not trivia necessarily. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
Okay.
Her sister in this movie, played by Jess Wexler, was in a movie that's far better than this one called Teeth.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she's the star of that movie. If you have not seen Teeth, it is the most alarming cautionary tale for men since Fatal Attraction.
Nice.
That's what it says at the top of the movie poster. Nice. You should go watch it. And if you have no idea what Teeth is, I'm not going to spoil it. I want you to go find out for yourself.
Yeah, that's fair. I think at one point you wanted to do it for the podcast, and I think I might have vetoed it.
It's not a good movie. It's not, but it's better than this one.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, they're all kind of better than this. Okay, so I guess the last thing I really wanted to mention before I go back into my notes was that. So some of the motivation, I guess what I was trying to get at was that it seemed weird that Colin Farrell would go. We all saw a mile away that Colin Farrell and Duke were going to have a fight. We knew that was going to happen, and I kind of thought that Duke would live somehow. He would somehow escape.
You never officially saw him die.
Well,
you saw him get. By the way, when you dispose of a body in a body of water, you don't just do it off the dock. You take it out on a boat, especially to a deep part of the river or whatever the lake, and you toss it out, because if it's next to the dock, kids out there fishing for bluegill, he's gonna snag something.
Well, especially since he has kids that are there. I mean,
it seems
Dad, I caught a finger.
Yeah.
Once again, it was a convenient. Let's not get the boats involved. Let's not. Let's not make this any harder than it is. We've got a drone here to go overhead shot.
Yeah.
It was dumb. It was dumb.
No, you're 100%.
So many things.
Yeah. You're right. It is dumb. It sucks. So I don't know. But so anyway, so Colin Farrell shows up. He's omniscient. He knows exactly which hotel to go to find her. and she's drinking. So I guess where I would have liked to have the movie have happened is, again, he doesn't go himself, right? She only had to fight one henchman, is my point. It's like, this movie, it was a short movie, but give me more consequence or give me more action or something. Like, forget
Send
the whole...
his daughter.
Well, I guess they
and
want
then let her kill his daughter, and then he goes after her like hardcore.
And that sounds fun too, because
that's much better than what we got.
Because then his motivation is now solidified as that, okay, now I have to kill her because she killed my daughter, right?
Yeah.
So we flipped the revenge. The daughter's going to go after revenge because she killed, But it just felt weird that he showed up to finish the job. I would have liked to have seen more henchmen that she has to dispose of, because the first guy, she got rid of him pretty quickly. I mean, he didn't last very long. And then the next fight scene is the next time then she's doing the thing in the desert, and then she has to take out all those soldiers and troops, which was a cool scene. I liked that scene.
Yeah.
It was my favorite part of the movie, honestly. Because I thought it was shot well. I thought the action was good. I liked the little slow-mo, her throwing the stabby things at the guards that are coming in and whatever. But anyway, so he breaks in and she's a little drunk, and she holds her own with this guy. And I thought, well, then why did it matter that she was going to get drunk? It didn't. There was no consequence. Either send another henchman and she gets her ass beat because she's drunk, and then she, is taken, and then she has to escape an elaborate thing before Colin Farrell gets there to finish her off, and then she can have. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no consequence. There was no point to it. It was a plot device just to make her seem fragile, but there was no consequence to it. So who cares? Who cares what she drinks?
Yeah.
Drink more. I don't know. Just whatever.
She had high tolerance, I guess.
Or not. I don't know. She drank a couple bottles of something. So, Sam, you still with us? Or did your controller die?
Or did you fall asleep because you're tired of hearing about this movie?
Or you muted yourself. Those are all possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to keep talking, Andrew, because I don't know where he went. So,
all right, sounds good. Do you have clips you want to move to?
I do have some clips. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Okay, here's the last thing I do want to talk about before we do the clips. And that is simply, so they have the fight scene, and they beat each other up, and they kind of come to a draw. And he just basically says, if I see you again, I'm going to kill you. So he's kind of basically saying, I'm leaving you alone. I no longer have a quarrel with you. I get it. You're good. We're good here.
Right.
So she gets her stuff and she grabs a gun and then she goes after him. And it just felt, in that moment, I kind of felt bad for Colin Farrell, because it's no longer a fair fight. She just walks, the slowest speed chase ever.
Yeah.
And then just shoots him in the leg, and then does the trope of, I'm going to count to 5, and then she shoots him on 1. I
honestly thought about asking you guys if you wanted to make that our top 3 movies where we have countdowns that we don't actually get the full countdown.
Oh, sure.
But I didn't know how many movies that actually would be. But it was such a trope, though. I'm going to count to 5, and you get 1, and then bang.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It was just, again, in that moment, I kind of felt bad for him. I mean, it seemed like he was now good. He's like, all right, I get it. We're good. We're done. Now, I know she wants to kill him because he killed her friend and whatever, but I don't know. I guess because it wasn't a fair fight, it just felt anticlimactic.
Uh-huh.
It was boring for the final boss kill. I was just bored. There was no exciting. There was no. She just walked after him, just shot him in the head. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for an action film, there wasn't much action in that big climax.
There was 2 action scenes. Really, there was 2. I mean, yeah, when she invades the Asian gang church, but that's, which by the way,
that was so chaotic that you couldn't see really what was going on. The real action scene was in the Saudi Arabia, the Middle Eastern.
That was the main
country.
One. They spent all their money on that scene. But like when she walked into that club and she starts, I mean, the only reason why she survived the club is because the first guy that shoots misses, and then she gets into battle mode. But she's like staring off into space. She's not even ready for a fight, and she almost gets noggined. And but then as soon as she stepped in there, and it's techno and loud and dancing and people, and all I could think of is this 1999 all of a sudden? Like, what did we just step?
Rave.
Yeah, did we just step onto the set of Blade or the
or
Matrix or something?
Yeah.
Wow, that was funny.
Yeah.
In the recording, Sam, you and I said Matrix at the exact same time, so that's going to be cool.
Glitch. There's a glitch.
Oh yeah, damn cats. So yeah, I don't know. It just the only thing that was different in that rave than any other one we've ever seen is that they all left, whereas most raves people stay because they don't care. You know. Anyway, that's kind of it. I don't have anything else. I do have some clips.
God,
I don't have
I'm tired
much.
of this one.
I'm trying to think.
By the way, I'm glad we didn't sucker any poor guest host on this one.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I would have felt really bad had we had somebody else doing this. So.
Yeah, you're not wrong. My wife had another really good point. Now I can't think of what it was. Oh, yes, I remember now. I'm glad I remember this. She had a really good point. She says to me, you know, this movie did a trope that I really don't like. I said, oh, what's that? And she says, the I'm dead, so I have to send a letter trope. And I said, huh. And she said, how did the letter get sent? Either A, he went to that guy's house knowing he was going to die, so he mailed the letter to her sister. How he, A, knew her address, or B, knew that she would get the letter there, but that's not the point. The point is either A, he mailed it before he went there, or B, there's some kind of thing, apparatus that is designed to just mail that letter in case he doesn't check in one day. And my wife's like, it's really dumb.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you're not wrong. I think there's ways that it can be done well where it doesn't come across as like super cheesy and just convenient that I need to give a little bit of written motivation to my protege. But yeah, you're right. It's kind of dumb. Anyway, I do have some clips, so I will play them now. This one clip I captured from the beginning because it reminded me of a West Wing episode. So, Sam, let's see if you key on it too.
I said I'd love to have a drink. I have one sip of that and someone's going to jail, someone's going to the ER.
So there's an episode of West Wing called Someone's Going to Emergency, Someone's Going to Jail. And it's based on a song that was written by Don Henley called A New York Minute. And in the song, it says someone's going to emergency, someone's going to jail. So either the writer is a fan of either West Wing or knows the song, or it's just a coincidence. But I think
it's the song.
I think it's either the song or West Wing.
Yeah.
Because that's...
Well, you think if he was a fan of West Wing, he'd be writing better.
Well, if he was yeah. Or they would have used the actual line. Just use the line.
No offense, yeah.
Well, no, you're not. Yeah, I mean... Well, I see what you're saying. If you're gonna, steal from
Sorkin,
right? then do better.
Oh,
yeah, you're not wrong. There's I clicked on this guy. His name is Efka. Oh, I can't pronounce his last name. Jeez, but he was an actor in this. He played Alan. He was the dude. She was the first assassin man that she killed, right? The guy that went after her. and he's mostly known as a stunts guy. And so I'm looking at his stunts, and this guy, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he's done a handful of episodes. He did Ava. He did the Birds of Prey movie. He did a couple episodes of The Mandalorian. Gemini Man. Bumblebee, the movie we watched. Let's see. Other things that we've watched for the podcast. He did SWAT. He did Shooter. Oh, the TV show, not the movie Shooter. He did Training Day, but again, the TV show. He did John Wick 2. Like, this dude's done, like, he's done a bunch of stuff. And some other NCIS. So, anyway, just thought, good job, man. Like, way to work. Just, do your thing. Anyway. I liked this clip because it was John Malkovich saying things.
So I'm going to take my hands out of my pockets. I'm going to put them up like this. I'm going to step toward you. Place them on your shoulders in a comforting but firm fatherly manner. And I'm going to ask you, are you sure you don't want me to hang around for a few days? Keep an eye on you?
Yeah, there you
Uh,
go. I thought it was fine. It was a sweet moment. I thought it was fine. No? Not working for you?
no.
Okay. I mean, I don't really care, but again, I didn't write it. I thought it was kind of a, maybe, especially in the recording out of context, maybe it sounds creepier than what it's meant to be. But you can tell, I think you could tell that he genuinely, like, there's a lot of times where you feel like you have the assassin movie where the handler doesn't really care or is trying to double deal. Like, this guy felt like he genuinely cared about her and wanted her to be successful. And so I kind of liked their relationship is all. So it was one of the things that I kind of actually liked it personally. So maybe I don't know, maybe not.
Maybe you just need a fatherly hug.
Maybe that's it. You're going to throw a little DC in your movie?
Judy came to my hotel. She was worried about you.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. All the stuff you was doing. Who the f is in front of me right now? Wonder Woman?
There you go. And if you're going to use the word moxie, I'm going to capture it because I just like that word.
Cow, no. Man happy.
Until the end is known.
Yeah.
Yeah, Duke made me read all that Greek shit, too. See why I liked you so much, Ava. You've got moxie.
You've got moxie. There you go.
That's a lot of heavy breathing.
Yeah,
There was a lot of
without knowing that was a fight scene, that sounds
off.
like something else is happening.
Uh-huh.
All right, time for... Oh, the only other trope that I wrote down was exposition by intro. We did get that. So, the intro credits are playing. We're getting her backstory. So, a little exposition intro. Time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
There wasn't a whole lot of trivia on this movie, so I'll read what little I have. During shooting, Ava's name was actually Eve. Presumably, due to the similarity to Killing Eve, the studio decided to change the main character's name after the film wrapped. This then affected the title, obviously. Since all scenes were filmed prior to this decision, this presumably required the cast to do additional audio or shooting. I'm reading that out loud, that sentence out loud for the first time. It feels like whoever wrote it felt like they were going to get paid by IMDb for using words like presumably. Because they used it twice. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, whatever. Several of the stars of this film play spies / assassins in other movies. John Malkovich is in The Line of Fire, Red 2. Colin Farrell, The Recruit, and In Bruges. Common, Smokin' Aces, Wanted. John Wick, Chapter 2. Gina Davis, The Long Kiss Goodnight. All are better movies.
Yes.
Well, I've not seen In Bruges or The Recruit, but I've seen the rest of those. There you go. Time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Female assassins. We decided to do female assassins. Sam, we'll go first.
All right. Well, while my computer loads back up since it went to sleep, I'm going to tell you about. Oh, here we go. All right. So my top 3. I've got Kill Bill with Uma Thurman's character in that. Mm-hmm. I've got, of course, Angelina Jolie with Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Cool.
And then I've got Gina Davis, who I hated in this movie, but loved in Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that list at all. I will go second with. I did Fox, so that's Angelina Jolie's character from Wanted.
Okay.
I did Evelyn Salt, who was Angelina Jolie's character in Salt. And I thought about doing a third one. I thought about doing Mr. and Mrs. Smith just to do all 3, but I decided not to and decided to pick Black Widow.
Okay, yeah.
Now, before Andrew goes, I asked our Twitterverse. I forgot to ask Facebook. I'm sorry, Facebook. But I asked our Twitterverse what you would like. Who are your favorite women assassins? So here's an opportunity for me to give some shout-outs here. Measuring the Score. They're going to get a shout-out later. Measuring the Score at Measure the Score is another podcast who will be on the hosts. The hosts, both husband and wife hosts, will be on our podcast in a few weeks. Xenia on a Top from 007 from a podcast called Murder Incorporated said the girl in the John Wick movie. So the really attractive girl that's also in the movie. Gosh, you know what I'm talking about? She attacks him in the hotel. Yeah. I can't think of her name. She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's very pretty. Let's see. It's a Fandom Thing pod, said Hannah, the film version, because I've not seen the TV show. I started to watch Hannah. I watched like the first 20 minutes of it. It's pretty good so far. Green Shirt podcast, our friend Cameron, who's been on our show. Green Shirt podcast, at GreenShirt87 is his Twitter handle. The Bride, so that's Kill Bill. Hannah, and Saffron from Firefly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Then our good friend Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable podcast said Major Makoto Motoko Kusangi from Ghost in the Shell. To which I responded, I will not pronounce that correctly.
No, and I think you nailed it.
And then he said, you're welcome. The Twist My Arm podcast sent me a picture of someone that I did not know who it was. I said, I don't know who that is. And then he says, Molotov Cocktease from Venture Brothers. Her name is Cocktease. So there's that.
Nice.
Sounds like a Bond girl.
I think that's the point.
Oh.
I think that is the point. There you go. So I did respond to Cameron. Cameron said that because he wrote, I feel that there's a lot more options, but I'm not thinking of those. Those are the ones that popped in my head first. And then he said, oh, wait, and Nebula. So he also said Nebula from Guardians. I hope that wasn't one of yours, Andrew. You're making a face. And then I responded with a GIF from of the girl, the lady from Sorsha from Willow. And then he said, oh, snap, does she count? She was tasked with returning the baby alive. And I said, I'm sure she killed for her mom. So that was that. Anyway, thank you, Twitter. And those people, I'll tweet at them saying, thanks for participating in our podcast. Andrew.
All right. So I actually had, number 3, I had Famke Janssen from Goldeneye,
Nice.
which I guess is
Yeah, on a top.
on a top.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had Amanda Peet in The Whole 10 Yards.
Nice.
But does she ever actually kill anybody? Because I know she tries.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then number one.
But you have to. Yeah, hold on. You have to say Amanda Pete from The Whole 9 Yards, because The Whole 10 Yards is kind of not the good one.
Yeah, I know.
It's fine.
And then I have Helen Mirren from Red.
Oh, that's a good one.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, that's really good. I love Red. It's
Yep.
such a good movie.
Red 2's good, too.
Yeah, it's all right. I like the first one, but
I do too.
you're not wrong. It's good. Cool.
Yeah.
Before I go on to our out of 10, I'm gonna hijack the show for a minute. Or am I? No, I'm not. Let's do out of 10.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
We're gonna do this, then I'm gonna hijack the show. Out of 10. Let's get this out of the way. Ava, Andrew, go.
3.
Sam.
Because there's 3 letters in the word Ava, and that's all I can give it. I give it 1 point per letter.
That's, you know what? That's a good enough a reason if I've ever heard.
Okay.
Sam, who also has 3 letters in his name.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a solid 3.4267.
That's too high.
6. Okay.
Yeah, this was not fun. It looked good. It had a polish, but it just, the story was so bad. It was just so bad. We've seen it all before.
Yeah. I don't know. Just, you've made that argument, and this is the only place where I disagree. Is that I'm okay with seeing things that we've seen before if it's done well. It's just the problem is I don't care.
It wasn't done well.
It wasn't done well is the problem. I don't mind the assassin that has been betrayed by her company trope. I'm good with that. They did that in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. The twist is that they were married, right? They did it for Bourne Identity. What's the twist? The twist that it's his government, right? But I guess the twist is that he's lost his memory. He doesn't know why he's being attacked, right? So, and there are other movies.
But there's no twist. There's no twist in this, and there.
Well, the twist in this movie is that she has all these other real world life problems where she has to go beat up this Asian lady and pay her off $80,000. I mean, to be fair, she could have just killed her and then she gets to keep $80,000. But I guess her moral compass thought that woman's not a terrible person. I'll kill all of your goons, and whatever. But I'll leave alone and pay you $80,000 to leave my guy alone, who I'm going to go make out with in my sister's kitchen. And then the only reason why he stops is because he announces that they're pregnant. So, I mean, like, even in that moment, she kind of sucks. But whatever. It's fine. I don't know. Andrew's reason of a 3 is as good enough for any 3 because of the 3 fight scenes, 1 was good. I don't know. The Colin Farrell fight scene actually wasn't that bad either. I thought it was actually pretty entertaining for a fight scene. But yeah, something that Sam, you mentioned earlier, I think maybe pre-show, I don't remember, but we haven't done this. We haven't done this specifically in a long time. I used to have a note in my script, and I stopped doing it, and I'm going to bring it back. It's just a real quick thing, and that's just simply the soundtrack, the film score grade. I'm just going to give this simply an F for
freaking awesome.
Flat.
Flat.
I don't remember anything. Yeah. Sam, you mentioned the music. I forgot there was music in this movie.
No, just that theme is over and over. That bam, 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 bam.
Like,
and it's this electronic theme over and over again. It's annoying.
You humming it doesn't even I have no memory of it. And I saw this movie less than 24 hours ago. I don't recognize it. It's so whatever. So it gets an F for flat. For I guess technically it should be a U for unrememberable. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Whatever.
An FU. Yeah.
FU. An unrememberable flat. An FU. That's perfect. I like that. Soundtrack rate of FU. Perfect. All right. That's it. That's the show. Now, oh wait, the last little dumb thing I do, the quote game. Here's the quote. It's pretty much my favorite animal. A liger. It's pretty much my favorite animal. It's like a lion and a tiger mixed, bred for its skill in magic. There's your quote. That's quote number, by the way. That was 15. We've done 15 of these, which is cool. So only
Is that from Tiger King?
Yes. So I am going to hijack the show for just a minute and say this. Our good friends over at Sudden But Inevitable Podcast, they celebrated their last episode. They did the last episode of Firefly, the Objects in Space episode, and their episode was 2.5 hours long.
Oh,
and
wow.
They gave us multiple shout-outs, and it was very nice that they did that. And there are 4 really great people. We've had 2 on the show so far. We'll have a third, Josh. I don't know if his wife will join us. I can ask Kylie if she wants to join us. They're really great people, and they gave us a lot of love. And so while listening to the show, I sent Jesse a message and said, I want to use that clip that you gave us because it's just kind of nice for the 3 of us to know that there are people out there that genuinely like us. So, gentlemen, I'm going to give you 47 seconds of people saying nice things about us. So here you go.
Like it's been mentioned a couple of times, I was on Cheapseat Reviews. Those are some really cool guys. It was a lot of fun. If you're starting out on the podcast thing, they're very welcoming to new people and just kind of sharing their venue. So I really appreciate what they did for me, and it was a lot of fun. And Shutter Island's an awesome movie.
I do also want to say thank you to Sean, Andrew, and Sam from Cheapseat Reviews. Like Ricky was saying, when I was on Sean's show, we talked about Road to Perdition, which was a movie I had never seen before, and I had a blast. And when Sean was on our show, he brought some great insight about how, River's character could be read as autistic or, just a special needs child in general. Like she has all the tools, she just doesn't have the translations. And I thought that was a great point that Sean brought up.
So I know that seems a little self-aggrandizing that I would play a clip of people saying nice things about us on our podcast. I'm doing that for 2 reasons. One, I am being a little self-aggrandizing. But 2, if you listen to our show and you like our show, please go check them out. They're good. It's a good show. Yep. They're good people, and Firefly's great. And they're getting ready to gear up to do Serenity, the movie. And then they're going to take some time off, and then season 2, they're going to be doing their show is going to be called A Sudden But Inevitable Reboot, Rebop. They're going to be doing Cowboy Bebop for season 2. So it kind of feels like they're going to be doing TV shows that only had 1 season.
1 season.
Yeah. So check them out. The other result of me listening to a 2.5 hour long podcast of them, it was kind of their, it was their last episode for the season other than the movie. So there was a lot of thank yous and things, and it made me realize one thing: I don't thank the listeners enough, and I don't thank you, Andrew, and you, Sam, enough for what you guys do for the show. So first, I want to say, the listeners that listen to us regularly, you guys are great. I know a handful of you by name. Maxton, you're always sending me messages like every week saying, I loved your review. Maxton, seriously, like I really appreciate you doing that. It's really great. Yep. Andrew A., that also listens, who engages with me on Twitter occasionally. You're the man. You were the first person to ever approach me outside of the podcast and say, hey, I listened to your show, and that was like the coolest thing ever. And that was like 6 years ago. And so the fact that you still listen is pretty amazing. Alan, I know you listen. I know, Alan, I promise we are going to get to with honors one day. It's just not streaming. Maybe one day in the fall, we just pay for it. We just rent it, and we bring you on, and we'll do it. So you guys, thanks so much. I know there are way more listeners than just the 3 of them. Just those are the 3 that interact with me the most. So listeners, guys, thank you so much for listening. Our numbers have been great, especially since we've had these other guests on. So if you're listening to us because of Sudden But Inevitable, or because of Green Shirt, or because of Best Flicks, welcome. I hope you want to stay and enjoy the show. I hope that we are at least funny enough to warrant sticking around. And then lastly, I want to say again, thank you, Sam and Andrew. You guys, like seriously, Wednesday nights is my second favorite night of the week. Obviously, like Friday nights are kind of Friday nights is
steak night, right?
Friday night is it's
Taco
like
Tuesdays are pretty good too.
Taco Tuesday is pretty good. It's usually Friday or Saturday. It's the night where I watch movie with the family, right? That's like And we've been doing like old Disney movies with the kids. It's really cool, like watching 101 Dalmatians for the first time with the kids, you know. And they're super into it. Like they love the Mary Poppins and I watched for the first time 2 weeks ago the Aristocats. So so that's kind of my favorite night of the week. But this is my second favorite night because I get to hang out with you guys. So again, I don't say it enough. Sam, you are the most talented person with Photoshop I have ever known, and Andrew, you are without a doubt probably the second funniest person I've ever known. So there you go.
Thanks. Well, I think we owe a thank you to you as well for steering the ship
and continuing to steer the ship.
Yeah, even
because Andrew and I really don't. We're kind of I'm sitting here drilling holes in the hull and
I'm failing to mention all the rocks that are out there and the reefs that we're about to run over.
I like this boat metaphor. This is cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
as long as
we keep moving.
As long as we don't get stuck like that one ship in the Suez, I think we're okay.
There you go. The Ever Given.
Did that ever get resolved? I honestly don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They
got it out.
All right. Well, good for them. All right. That's all that mushy stuff. Again, just you guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. And just again, I'm not saying this because the show is ending or anything. I have guests booked until July, so we're not ending anytime soon.
But August?
Yeah, August. I don't know.
Maybe done. We don't know.
Yeah, I do. But I legit we have guests. The entire month of May is a different guest each week. I'm so excited. I can't stand it. I really can't. So there you go.
We've actually got Will Wheaton lined up.
No, we don't.
Oh,
Phil.
No.
Well, would that be a good get, though? Right?
That would be.
That would be a good get.
I'm going to work on that for us.
All right.
I'll get on it.
Okay. Let me know how that goes.
I will.
So, yeah, that's it. I guess I'm going to start doing the outro here. Next week we are starting a month-long, well, I guess a three-week-long. We're doing Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3. We're going to start with The Phantom Menace. We're doing the prequels. We have been requested by a good friend of the show and of us, Melissa, who was on a while back. So we are doing 3 episodes 1, 2, and 3. And I frankly haven't watched episode 1 all the way through since college. I think that's pretty accurate to say, because I haven't watched them with my son yet. So I might watch them with my son as we watch them together. I don't know. We'll see. I'd be interested to hear his opinion on them. So we're doing that next week. Phantom Menace is coming to your ears next week. All of the Star Wars and the acting and the greatness that is Phantom Menace. In the meantime, please leave us a review on iTunes. Podchaser is another place you can now leave us reviews if you want. If that's where you want to do it, great. We've had some really, really lovely reviews recently on iTunes, and I'm just blown away at some of the other podcasts that we have out there that are helping us out. We had one recently. Also, another one recently. Leave us a review. It's just really, really, really nice that do that. This review came in last week. Not last week. This was a couple weeks ago. Did I read this one last week? Constantly fun. I found myself laughing the entire time. Plus, they had great insights and thoughts into the films. Love this podcast. That was.
I think that was that 2 weeks ago.
It was 2. Oh, maybe.
Maybe it was last week. I listened to the show, even though I wasn't here. I did listen.
Well, anyway.
Just so we would have one more number on our stats.
Hey, whatever. I don't care. So we have 21 reviews. We have 21 5-star reviews for this podcast. I'd love to get that number going up if we can. The higher that number goes,
it really helps.
It really does. It helps others find us on iTunes.
It's Apple Podcast now, right? Does iTunes exist?
Yeah, iTunes still a thing, but yeah, Apple Podcast is the thing. So Apple Podcasts, leave us a review there. It'd be super helpful if you can. It takes very long. If you're listening to us through your phone, it's just right there. It takes a minute and a half, even if you just hit the 5-star thing. It takes very little time to do that. So please do that. It really does help us out. You can, of course, leave them on Google Play, YouTube. That's where we all are. But iTunes kind of helps us the most. And Spotify, well, Spotify's the thing. Eventually, we're going to get on Spotify. We can't right now. There's reasons. Not going to worry about it. Visit our website, cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com. That's where you can find all of our old episodes. All of them. All 340-something I just said. Facebook.com/cheapseatreviews is how you can find us there. At CheapSeatCast is where all the fun is. I've just kind of switched gears to Twitter. I'm on there all the time. You want to see a really great picture that Sam posted of, he put my face on Ava? Go to at CheapSeatCast. It's where you can find it. It's great. It really is great. I'm on there.
Or disturbing.
It's so disturbing.
It is a little disturbing and a little... I don't know. It's a little weird. We're on Instagram too. At cheapseatreviews@gmail.com is how you can email us your requests. If there's anything you want us to do, get those in. Because like I said, I have guests out till July, and they get to pick the movie. So if you want us to do something like, guys, we really want you to review Mortal Kombat, need you to let us know so that we'll do it. Otherwise, we're just going to do our own thing and make you watch movies like Ava. So that's it. That's the show. Guys, this was a lot of fun. On behalf of Andrew and Sam, this is Sean saying thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for Phantom Menace.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.